G'day folks and welcome back again. This is just an adjunct, an annex you might want to call it, a small video in regards to the last video I did. During that video I spoke about boots, gaiters and the fire kit. So what I'm going to do is show you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the boots, gaiters and the fire kit itself. Okay, let's start. Well folks, these are the boots that I wear for most of my bushwalking activities. They're getting a bit old now, as you probably see. I've had to change the shoelaces at some stage. That was easy enough done with a bit of paracord. But these are a very, very comfortable shoe, or a very, very comfortable boot. They're made by a company called Altama. I must say at this point, I'm not sponsored in any way, but I've been wearing Altama boots for 20 plus years and have found them always to be excellent. Not an overly expensive combat boot. Can get them normally on eBay from around about $120 to $130, depending on what the exchange rate is. Altama is an American company, but the boots are actually made in China, which is not uncommon with a lot of the footwear that we have nowadays. But the key to these is the fact that they are light and comfortable and easy to wear in. This is a pair of the same boot, slightly newer and in better condition. I normally show up myself to a pair of boots once every couple of years, and I'll actually wear these out. Trousers will come down to about here, so it's just like a suede shoe. But again, I find them so comfortable that I've worn these boots literally all around the world. Great for walking around, whether it be hiking or just strolling through a city or whatever. I find them very, very good. There are literally hundreds of different types of boots out there, and the key with the boots, I would suggest again, is find something which is reasonably well made, and something which will actually have the sizing that you want. Most of these boots will be signed or sized in the UK, American sizes and European sizes. Another type of boot, which again is quite good, are these. These are denier boots, but they are somewhat more expensive, about twice the price of the Altamas. And to be quite honest, I prefer the Altamas. They have always provided the support and comfort that I like. That's boots. One of the things that you need with your boots when you're out in the bush are gaiters. Now the gaiters may be as basic as these little elastics, and they simply fit around the boot, blouse the trousers over, it's over the top. And it will keep the bugs and so on from crawling up into the trousers or getting into the boot. If the countryside is a bit more hostile with thorns and those sorts of things, or if you're concerned about snakes, there are these types of gaiters. Gaiters aren't for everyone. I quite like them if the terrain and the weather conditions are suitable for them. Normally, if I'm going to be walking through wet grass or grass where I might be concerned that there might be some nasties in, I don't mind putting on gaiters at all. They're light and they're easy and they're reasonably comfortable. Simply hook over. There's quite often a little hook that hooks into the laces, stops them from riding up. Simply put them around the Velcro tab over the top, strap underneath the foot. It's my preference, and I think for most people, have the buckle on the outside. And just tuck it up inside, adjust the elastic top, and there. That'll stop most things crawling up and getting up inside your boot. They're light, they're weatherproof, and again, just add that extra layer of protection to the lower part of the leg, particularly in areas where snakes and spiders might be a bit of a problem for you. When you finish with them, just take them off, fold them up. They weigh very, very little. Put them in your pocket or in the back of your pack until you need them next time. That's Gaiters. We're going to have a look at the fire kit now. Now, the fire kit can be any one of a number of things. And at the end of the day, this is not all about the bushcraft and rubbing two sticks together and all those sorts of things. This is about getting a fire going quickly in potentially adverse conditions. So what does the fire kit need? It needs, one, a source of flame or at least a persistent spark or an easy spark. And the second thing it needs is some way of sustaining that spark or flame so that your kindling and then firewood can actually catch on fire. So ideally, your system will have a couple of alternatives in case one fails, and that you have actually tested your kindling accelerator or that thing which is actually going to sustain the flame until the kindling catches. So let's have a look at a few options, and as we go through, I'll break those down into a couple of categories. Okay. Before you attempt to start your fire, the time that you prepare your kindling and your timber is well worthwhile. There is nothing worse than using up all of your matches or your lighter fluid or all those sorts of things simply because you haven't taken the time to actually construct your fire. So what I'm going to quickly do is construct a fire in my little fire pan here, give you an understanding of what the essential parts are, and then we'll actually ignite it and take it from there. I'm just batting down some timber off camera. I think you've all seen that sort of thing. If not, let me know and I'll do a video on how to prepare timber. But just taking the big pieces and making it smaller. I've got some kindling here. I'm just going to actually feather up some timber, take a little bit of, get my fat wood here and actually batten it down to finer pieces. And then we'll be prepared to get this fire up and going. I've broken my fat wood down into thick matchsticks. Use my trusty multi-tool for that. Not hard again. This is a fairly soft timber. It'll break down quite easily. I want these quite thin because the more surface area is, the easier they'll actually catch on fire. What I'm going to do now, and I'll do this off camera, I'm just going to feather up a piece of timber, show you what that's about, and then we'll get the fire going. This is what's meant by feathering. It's just simply, taking the ends, carving a few finer areas. Again, it's all about surface area and fuel content. So these will actually catch on fire fairly quickly. Of all the accelerants that I used or those tricks, as I said, the Vaseline and sawdust, it works, but it can be a little bit problematic from time to time. As I said, these ether swabs will catch a spark pretty good. But the best thing I've actually found is something that I made up from egg carton. Tore it all up into small pieces and then soaked it in methylated spirits and then put it into a resealable bag. This stuff is exceptional. A little bit of preparation and you must keep it sealed. If it dries out, well, then it's just a piece of cardboard. But with the methylated spirits on it, it works really, really well. Well, here we are at the fire. I've got a little bit of melaleuca in there, a couple of pieces of the fat wood, my magic egg carton mix, which we'll put in there. Make sure this timber is over the top of it. Make sure that I've got all my finer material close at hand. Use a trusty lighter or a match or anything like that. If I'm going to use a match, I quite like these longer shank matches. Here, let's actually try a match. You can see that's pull it fairly well. That magic egg carton formula is just what I need. Get my tinder on there. A little bit of my prepared wood that I just batten down. The essential parts for any fire are heat, fuel, and oxygen. And there you have it. Nothing magical, but be aware that there are, in fact, dozens of different types of igniters. Have a bit of a play with them. Solar ones, as I said, these are very, very popular nowadays. Not overly expensive, but it's a spark. But why make it hard for yourself? One of these, a packet of these, one of these in your kit. What it's all about, to keep it easy. Okay, folks, catch you later. Here's one of those items that I spoke about earlier on. This is the electronic lighter. Piece of my magic egg carton. Very quick, very effective, very efficient. Next thing to quickly look at, ferro rod. These have been around for a little while and they're very, very popular. Again, a piece of my magic egg carton, striker. There we go.